Tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Talk is here because it's Sunday night, week 8 in the NFL, and we tackled quite a bit. We go big picture in the league. We talk other games in the league. We go deep on Omar possibly getting divorced from Jimmy G. My deep despairs in the Las Vegas Raiders this week. It was rough. Well, you saw what happened. I add a new game to the Sunday Night Talk this week. Very intricate, very Carmona themed. You'll see what I'm talking about. Then we give out the awards, and finally, we do the Monday Night Questions. Big one this week, Battle of Ohio. Before we get to the episode, though, don't forget, if you want to see me doing live stand-up comedy November 21st, I will be at the Hollywood Improv performing in the lab. So if you're coming out, let me know. I will see you there. So we are week 8 in the NFL. Fall is slowly turning. We haven't seen any bad weather yet, but we know it's coming. Teams that are good show us that they're good. Teams that are bad, well, they look bad. And then there were lots of penalties too. We're going to talk about it all. It is the Sunday Night Talk for week 8, possibly the most important one yet. Let's go to the show. Recording this 7:51 West Coast time. Omar joins me. Hello, Omar. Welcome. We are recording this with about 10 minutes still to go in the Sunday night game. It just will not die. It will not officially die. I'm going to say right now, I think we know what's going to happen, but the game is not over, so we're going to react to this game as it finishes. Sure. Green Bay at Buffalo right now. 27-10, I think it is.
Yep, it's over. But yeah, let's just finish watching it. Obviously, by the time anybody hears this, the game will have already been over. But it is a game of note, wouldn't you say? I mean, yeah, the Aaron Rodgers at the tail end of his career, little unknown of what's going to happen in his future, the future of the Packers, and then here we go, the best quarterback in the league, arguably, about to have several years of just prime talent. So interesting quarterback matchup here.
Yeah, we've done this before where we just sort of kick off the show mid Sunday night game just to like maybe the game. I don't know how we don't have like a prescribed reason why we do this. Sometimes we just feel like, fuck it, let's just start the recording now and watch the rest of the game. So we will react to the game as it finishes up. We think Buffalo's going to win, so we will see. Okay, so let's start here. Are you willing to apologize for last week's burying of your 49ers? Given this week's performance, McCaffrey is looking like an MVP candidate. Garoppolo's throwing balls everywhere. The defense is intercepting. So what say you, Omar? Are your feelings different to the San Francisco team?
I am not ready to apologize. I feel like I don't have to apologize.
What? Why are you so mad? Why are you being so stubborn on your own team?
I'm not upset. I'm obviously not mad this week. Great performance by my 49ers. But here's the thing. Jimmy G may screw this up next weekend. Or it's just like everything hinges on Jimmy G. He was decent today. He's exactly the quarterback we need today. But again, I get my hopes up with Jimmy G, and then he lets me down. So
you know what? You're one of those fans where the team could go 16-1, and you're just like, they'll blow it. Oh, they're good now. They'll blow it. Like, why are you that fan? I don't understand. You have a good game, and you're not willing to back off your apology that they're going to blow it.
How about Kyle Shanahan? 8 straight wins against the LA Rams during the regular season. Now, obviously, last year's NFC Championship game, that was a different story. But we do definitely see this confidence that Kyle has over a Sean McVay team.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about the game in depth, but that 49ers offense looked all of a sudden really scary.
Without Deebo Samuel. in the
That's
lineup.
right. No Debo Samuel. Christian McCaffrey is putting up triple doubles. He's throwing touchdowns. He's catching touchdowns. And all of a sudden, with 10 days into the team, now I think you got to say 49ers, second place in the division. That's a threat. They are a threat.
No team has set itself apart from the other teams in that division. So, now that we're getting to the halfway point, it's something to look out for.
Well, you're still sitting in a dark room, so your mood hasn't totally.
Right. I'm still no. I will turn on the light hopefully at some point this year, but right now we're gonna stay in the darkness.
That's how I know that your attitude has changed. Is you will flip on the light. You will have yourself illuminated. Okay, so I kind of call this week the end of fun football. This is the last weekend in October. The fun is over. Now we know who is going to tank, who is a threat, who we can give up on. I think for the most part, there's always going to be a team that's going to flip it around. But this is the last weekend of fun football for me, and probably the first weekend where we need to have a little bit of MVP talk. Like
Right.
who are the candidates? Josh Allen is a candidate. I mean, after the Cowboy game today, Pollard, can we give it to Pollard?
Wow, okay, well maybe can we consider him? Dude,
But Pollard, but also Parsons too.
Parsons. That's
Parsons
maybe.
Parsons is our Green Party candidate, possibly.
I hate to say it,
He's a Ralph Nader.
but he is definitely at this rate. Okay, his rise coming in at this rate. Are we going to be talking about him the same way we talked about Lawrence Taylor, the same way we talked about Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Ray Lewis? That kind of category of a defensive player, Micah Parsons could be.
Yeah, not only is he like blowing up every other play, he got that fumble in that Chicago game where the running back fumbled it, and then he turns into a running back essentially, and he's dodging people, diving into the end zone. Like is there anything this guy cannot do in space?
I think right now best player in football, in pro football.
I think the odds were a week ago. Parsons for MVP on FanDuel were like 250 to 1. And I was like, I'm putting $25 on this.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. And I'm like, it's probably 150 to 1 now. But I'm like, what's to lose? This guy could do it in a year where there isn't like an obvious offensive quarterback MVP candidate right now. It might change after this week with Josh Allen, but like, why not throw it down? Why was I so hesitant? This is fun football. Yeah. It was fun football last week. Now it's big boy football.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be interesting. And you mentioned the word tank, but there's some teams that they may not have the first half that they they may not have the second half they had the first, but. Would it really be a tanking? I mean, are the Giants like really 6-2? I mean, I definitely an improved team, but I mean, I think their record is a lot better than what they are.
Totally. There are some records in this league where I did double takes on them today. I was like, oh, Giants, okay, I knew they were good. Jets, I knew that. Okay, Minnesota's 6-1. When did this happen? Seahawks, Geno Smith is a second-tier MVP candidate all of a sudden. Pete Carroll's getting penalties on the sideline. What's happening?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so now we're kind of at the point in the season where we're looking at the record and we're going, okay, maybe I keep an eye on this team. So we talked a little bit about this before. We're going into this slate of games, and would you have put money down that Week 8 in the NFL? The only game with two teams with winning records would have been New York Giants versus Seattle. Would you have thought that would be winning record teams?
And we talked about it pre-show. It was just, on paper, it was a terrible week,
Yeah. We had some matchups that didn't really look interesting at all. And in all the early games, I have a couple notes about it, that all three of these games were going down to the last possession. Carolina, Atlanta, what was the other one? There was three of them in there that were all exciting. I'm just flipping the games and seeing Okay, what happened here? What's going on here? Who got what play? They were Carolina, Atlanta, Miami, Detroit, and Arizona, Minnesota. Were three games that were all one score away, and I'm like just flipping. I'm just flipping channels and watching them right now.
Right. And crazy, Detroit in another one score ball game. I mean, their record's terrible, but they're always in it, I think.
Detroit's one that does Dan Campbell make it out of the season? Is it Dan
I think
Campbell
he'll make
coach
it
watch?
out of the season. I think they like playing for him, but they're going
They,
to be looking. There's one coach in the league, and I don't want to upset you right now. I
oh,
don't
I'm gonna
want
play you
to.
off. I know where this is going.
I'm just saying. He wasn't on my coaching carousel radar until today.
Mm.
And do you believe your coach, Josh McDaniels, is going to be on the hot seat?
He's on the hot seat. Isn't this the second week where it's reported that the owner goes and has a talk with the coach? Remember after the Arizona fail that they were like Mark Davis had a closed door talk with, and now another one. This is like I didn't give it to my overparenting Mark Davis on Josh McDaniels, but maybe he gave his own overparenting award where it's like, hey, this is the second time you guys show up and you guys are not even here. You guys put up 0 points. Shut out. You are shut out in this game. It's one of those games where like you're getting killed and then it goes from we're getting killed to are we going to score any points even? Didn't score any points. 0 points. The Raiders strategy in that first half was like run the ball, throw a jump ball to Devontae Adams. Run the ball, throw a jump ball to Devontae Adams. Oh, we got a first down. Jump ball to Devontae Adams. That's the whole strategy. That isn't a play. Just throw it up in the air. And in the Saints offense, there was one possession where I think they could have walked to the end zone.
Yeah. I think I
Every
saw that
single
one,
play was positive. It was like 7 yards, 3 yards, 13 yards, touchdown. Taysom Hill takes a little stroll into the end zone. Both sides of the team, offense and defense,
It was terrible. It was just
horrendous. And
it
the
was
Saints had
lifeless.
three of their best players out of the game. So I think, no more fun football, October football. I think the Raiders are tank alert. Like, is it just time to tank? Is it time to tear down the whole organization, to tear down the whole building? Isn't it Josh McDaniels' first year? Can he be one and done?
At what point are the Raiders going to be looking? In what year do you think the Raiders are going to be looking for a quarterback in the draft?
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts on that. It might be this year. It's enough. It's enough. We have a good quarterback. It's one of those, you know what the Raiders are? They're that student in high school, and then you see them like 6 years later, and they're working retail or they're working like at Subway, and you just go like, he had so much potential.
Right.
You could have done anything you wanted. And look, you're here. You're 7 years. Like, what's the plan here? That's what the Raiders are. It's like year after year. It's like
I'm with you.
They're way too talented for the record. They got great players. Oh, look, they added, remember the Jordy Nelson. Oh, they added Jordy Nelson. Oh, they added Devontae Adams. Oh, they added this guy. And what does it turn into? One playoff game?
Yeah.
One single playoff game, which was a loss to the Bengals. So I think it's this year. I think enough's enough unless they completely run the table.
Are you going to be okay with that? Are you going to be okay?
Yeah, I'm okay with it at this point, but I like Derek Carr because he's a good player. He's a
good guy.
Good guy.
He's got his team's back.
Yeah. He says all the right things, but ultimately a lot of guys say the right things. And if he didn't say the right things, he probably would have been out 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He's just such a good guy that he's become the face of the organization. But unfortunately, that face doesn't equal any wins. He's just not good on both sides of the ball. Can we get back our Edward James Olmos, Rich Bisaccia coach from last year?
Right. Well, let's see what he's up to.
Let's get him back. There was that point in the game where the Raiders do a fake punt on 4th down. We're only down 10-0 at that point. I'm like, it's fake punt time? We're already at fake punts? New rule in the analytics. No fake punts until the second half. Is that crazy? Am I nuts, Josh?
I didn't think they were that desperate. They got desperate.
Yeah, well, last week, I wore my party wig because the Raiders won. This week, I just wore all black because I feel like I'm going to a funeral, and it's just time to say my goodbyes.
All right, man. Well,
And so,
November. It's November
Raiders,
football now.
yeah, now it's November football. Along those lines of no more fun football games, I have renamed the Jaguars. I now call them the London Jacksonville Jaguars. Do you know how many times the Jaguars have played in the London game?
Well, isn't he, well, he's the owner that wants to move him. I think I think he is. I think he's British, um, and I just think he would love to have a football team there. And there's been talk about a potential international division, which would be so interesting.
If the Raiders keep up this poor performance, they're going to be playing in London. It sounds like one of those like bad 80s threats to be like, you keep up this poor play, you'll be playing home games in London, And I think the Raiders are there. So go ahead, guess in the last 10 years, how many games have Jacksonville played in London?
I want to say 10.
You're pretty damn close. It's 8.
Wow.
They played every single year in London except for 2. The record in London is 4-4, by the way. So the London Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't think is that much of a stretch. It could really happen. The London, have you, now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever watched a London game. It's on like at 8 or 9 in the morning. I've never watched it. I don't think I ever have. Have you?
I have. There's been a few. I remember one year, wow, I mean, so long ago, I remember watching a 49ers London game. It was Troy Smith started that game. The
Yeah.
old
I think they
Buckeyes.
played the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think so. I think so. I think you're right. But yeah, but it's rare when I am able to watch that game. But um, I caught some of this game this morning. But hey, when you saw that game, it's the Jaguars Broncos. It seemed like two franchises that are going like in opposite directions. You know what I mean? Like it seems like Trevor Lawrence is on the up and up with Trevor Etienne, and it seems like really good. I'm sorry, with Etienne, I call him Trevor, but Etienne, and then you have the Broncos that seem to have maybe wasted a huge contract on Russell Wilson. But at the end of the game, Broncos take home the win. It was a crazy game.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Broncos, and nobody does. We got Nat Hackett, attorney at law, coaching them. We got Russell Wilson, who I think the building could be on fire, and Russell Wilson would still say like, "Hey, I feel great. The team is great. Everybody's happy. We're having a great time out there." It's like, Russell Wilson, your building's on fire, and he's like, "Let's ride." I don't think he's shakeable. I think he might be trolling us.
How did you feel about the reports that on the jet ride over to London, Russell Wilson was running up and down the aisles while his team was sleeping to do exercises?
Oh, I believe everything now. I believe everything with Russell Wilson is just a crazed workout competition, everything guy, to the point where like the rest of the team is like, that guy's nuts, like it goes past motivation and it's just like, oh no, that guy's just crazy. I believe everything with these crazy elite athletes. Like, I've known super crazy, like rich people. I've known super elite athletes and they're on another mindset level.
Yeah.
So I believe it all when like you and I go like, why would Tom Brady leak that to the press? Or why was like, they're nuts. They do everything correct. Why would Tom Brady want to work out in the odds? Like they do everything. It's beyond our logic mindset of us saying like, no, you want to get your rest, or no, you want to get like, no, they do it all. They're crazy. They do it all. They're at the 1% of the 1%.
Right.
I believe it though. I would love to see that though. I would like to see Russell. Wouldn't you like to see some home life of some of these athletes and just like how crazy is their morning? Like when you wake up, is it already crazy? Are there people in your house, assistants, nannies, chefs? Is it chaos all the time? I think it is. I think a lot of the times it is.
I'm with you on that.
Russell.
But Russell, there's someone special.
Speaking of Brady, Has anybody
Oh,
else had a rougher 2 days? Brady loses.
I'm glad we're talking about the Sunday night game. A lot of dynamics here too. Tom Brady, we hear all these reports. Well, we've seen him lose his mind on the sidelines. He's throwing tablets.
Yeah, he throws tablets.
He's yelling at offensive linemen, screaming at referees, but to the point that then he gets these ticky tack calls in his favor. Um, and then you hear on his personal life, obviously the marriage was on shaky ground. Now it's officially over, from what it sounds like. So it's definitely like, wow, he's living in chaos. And then on the other side, a very different kind of chaos. Lamar Jackson wants to get paid, and that's something that a whole lot of people are talking about.
Yeah. Didn't he wants to get paid, but didn't he reject the negotiation? I mean, like it's a lot more complicated than holding up a sign and saying, "Pay me." Like they offered him a contract. They just haven't negotiated the terms yet. But it is funny that you can just say like you can win a game and then you can say pay me and everybody goes, "Hey, Ravens, what the fuck?"
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Yeah, so anytime it's like, is he the one that doesn't have an agent? Who's the player that doesn't?
It's his mom. It's his mom that handles his negotiations.
Wow. I mean, forget overbearing parent award. I think we have a winner.
That may be it. That may be it.
That's right.
I already have an early, when we get to that part, I already have an award winner. But,
all right, don't step on it.
No, I won't do that yet.
Back to Brady's rough 2 days. He loses Thursday night and then announces he's getting divorced the next day. Ooh, that's a rough 48 hours.
It is.
That is tough. That is tough. How long do you think, just give me a guess, how long do you think they had not been living under the same roof together? Are we talking 6 months, a year, just since the summer?
Since the ended retirement.
Since the retirement announcement.
Right.
So that was maybe 8 months ago. So the unretiring of Tom Brady. Yeah. So maybe he retires. I'm like, okay, are you happy? I retired. You're going to have Tom Brady at the house all the time. They get in a huge fight and she's like, I'm screw this. I'm living in Miami. And he goes, you're going to go to Miami? Guess who's back in the NFL, baby?
Yeah.
Go ahead, live in Miami.
I didn't think about that approach, but you may be onto something there.
Yeah, like all these people like that said like he doesn't want to stay at home. He unretired. I'm like, it's deeper than that. Like there is such a thing as an off season. He's got plenty of money for private jets. He's gonna retire in a year, 2 years anyway. He's going to be home. By the way, we all have jobs. We all have stayed married. Well, not me. I'm not married. But, like we all make relationships work while having a job. This like she wanted him at home. I was like, there's more to it than this. There's no way it's as simple as like you need to stay home. No way. So yes, I'm going to say they got in a huge blowout and she's like, you know what? I'm moving out. And he's like, you know what? I'm going back to the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm moving out. He's like, don't bother. I'm back in Tampa.
I think that was our biggest collection of big picture thoughts going into week 8 of the NFL. That was big picture. Let's do an update on Sunday night. About 3 minutes left. Still a 10-point game.
It's over.
You're sticking with it. It's over.
Oh, yeah. This is over.
I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers smiling on the sideline. I'm like, aren't you down 10 points? Sunday night game. Couple notes on this, mainly because I brought it up last week. I didn't see a single food intro. Where's the food intro out of commercial where we see buffalo wings or something? Where's the food truck? Where's the coming back from commercial?
You need that.
And then somehow the Packers are running the ball extremely well, yet they've got 17 points.
Right.
Can't seem to put anything on the board. But mainly since this game is not that competitive, here's the two things that stand up now that I'm looking for it. There's a part where announcer Maria Taylor, it's Halloween, we're talking costumes, it's kind of fun. Maria Taylor asked Tony Dungy, do you have a costume? And Tony Dungy goes, no. Like,
you think he was bothered by the question?
yeah, they act annoyed, and I'm not kidding you. 7 minutes later, Tirico goes to Collinsworth. What are you going to dress up? And Collinsworth, in the most annoyed voice ever, goes, I'm going as an announcer. Uh, do you guys have any chemistry at all? Is there any concept of, if I give you something, run with it? Don't just let it die on the vine. Like, we're supposed to be conversational here. That's why we need a third person in there for fun.
Do you think it's like, because would you ask Michael? Let me ask you this: you're a journalist. Would you ask Michael Jordan if he was going to dress as something? It seems like
I would if he's in the booth. If he's in the booth and we're supposed to have banter, you can't just leave me dying out there, Collinsworth.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, if
you're an announcer,
yeah,
and you got to move material, and you got to talk about the game at the same time. You got to engage.
We got to keep it lively. Like there is such a term called yes and.
I take it back. I take it back.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You can't speak for a living, and then when I tee you up for something, you go, no.
Right. Yeah. Pat, you're right. I take it back. That is kind of it's a dick move.
Yeah, you're killing your partner there. You're just like, I'm going as an announcer. And then 2 seconds later, all the life in the world comes back into Collinsworth's body when that Packers receiver catches that touchdown.
Right.
Doing the twisting. And Collinsworth is like, oh my goodness, that's fantastic. He's even doing the as they fade into the commercial. I'm like, so it's in you, Collinsworth. Why you gotta kill your partner Tirico with, I'm going as announcer? Yeah. Absolutely bonkers. Like, can a producer or somebody say, like, guys,
Pat, I'm with you on that one.
Sorry, I should have played myself off to my own rat music on that one. It drives me crazy when so-called, they're not entertainers, but they're in the entertainment world. Just let a bit die. Just let a sentence die. What if you were like, what if I told you, like, hey, the 49ers, took a great win today, Carmona, and you go, yep.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That would not be cool.
So we'll keep tabs on the Green Bay
chemistry. Let's do a little chemistry watch every week.
Yeah, like these are professionals. NBC is a huge production. Like, you don't think they do any sort of chemistry talks or any sort of like, let's get loose before the season? Maybe the answer is no. Maybe they're too big and they say, like, no, we're not doing any. I'm not coming in for any like improv games or any practicing. Like, now, we'll just call it the game.
What if you're Tony Dungy though? Because I think it's a little different.
He's stiff. He's always been stiff. I'm surprised he's still there.
But here's the thing. I think your argument is a little different with Dungy because Dungy is in a situation where he does have limited seconds. That he's got to get things out, right? Mm-hmm. Collinsworth, because of the uncertainty of the length of the game. I mean, I know it's a timed game, but in Collinsworth's case, dude, fill up some airtime, especially if you're. Do you think maybe Dungy was like, "Hey, sister, I got things that I need to get out here, and I've got to worry about what I'm dressed as for Halloween." Yeah.
On the Tony Dungy side, it's like, are you seriously asking me if I'm going to wear a costume, bitch? Right. Like, I'm a 65-year-old man. Right. And to Tony, if you're going to make the argument for Tony Dungy, I'm like, hey, Maria Taylor, don't set me up with ridiculous questions. Like,
over under 2.5. How many times on tomorrow's show, if it's live, Howard Stern says, "I hate Halloween"?
Oh, it's over 2.5. I canceled my Sirius, right? I got fed up with it. I didn't know. I had enough of him pontificating, but I was conflicted about it because I'm like, why am I paying a subscription for Sirius? Howard isn't even in the studio anymore. He's doing what we do. We zoom in. They build him a studio in his house. It sounds great, but the interviews are not the same. He's mad. Yeah. He's old. And I'm like, I don't want to listen to him anymore. I get bummed out all the time. And then there'd be a funny bit or a funny phony phone call. And I would say, like, well, this subscription is paying for this staff. Like, they have jobs too. So I was conflicted. Maybe I'll go back.
Interesting, but I also see what you're saying. But you know what? The one thing, though, is the one thing that Howard, when he does go on vacations and, spends longer periods of time out of the studio or his basement
Mm-hmm.
is because of those days. It's very rare if I listen to that, the morning show in that hours block. So I listen to a lot of the music, and I've learned to really really appreciate the Sirius XM music menu, if you will.
Oh, so you listen to you have your channels, your presets. You have 80s on 8, 90s on 9.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have that. That's true. I still have Sirius. I just canceled
the Howard part.
Howard part. Yeah, which I'm still conflicted because I love radio. He's a great broadcaster, but I just think he was misinformed, and then he just would stick to his guns, and he would. I don't know. I would just get bummed out. I would just get bummed out when he would pontificate to it,
Yeah.
and then the interviews are. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. The interviews via Zoom are not the same. They are not the same when they're not in person. But sometimes I miss it. I might go back. You can always resubscribe. That is true. Where were we? We covered big picture. Packers are somehow still only down 10. There's a minute.
No, it's over, Pat. It's over.
All right. I'm an optimist. All right. Let's talk some early games. The slate that we thought would be more boring than it is. Let's start Chicago at Dallas. Dallas puts up 49 points.
Yeah, I'm not going to take anything. They look good. That offense looked good. Michael Parsons looked good.
This was the game Dak needed.
Probably a little more points, I think, than the Dallas defense is, under Dan Quinn. I think they're comfortable allowing. So I'm sure there's going to be some adjustments, like how the heck did these guys put up so many points? Because really, I another game that I just saw the Bears were lifeless,
Yeah, there was little spurts of Bears life. You're right. And then it's they go for it on fourth down, don't get it, or they go 3 and out, and Justin Fields, he looks like a mini Rodgers out there. He looks annoyed all the time. Every single play, even a good play, he looks disappointed. I don't get what's going on with it. What is his second year? He's already a grizzled old-timey vet, and he's mad at everything.
Right.
I don't know what's going on with him. He looks pissed off all the time. And then Pollard, Dallas running back, had a huge day.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where we're like, Ezekiel Elliott, who? We got Pollard. So he should change the name of the back of his uniform. In the XFL, when they could put whatever name they wanted on their uniform, Pollard should make his say Zeke who. That'll be it. 131 yards today. Guy was running over everybody.
Yeah, no, a huge game. Huge game. And then so, given that's, Dallas looking good, they're obviously in the thick of things in that division, obviously only chasing undefeated Philadelphia, which makes their late season matchup all, more fascinating from this point. And so, but, not a whole lot more to talk about in that game. Dak looked good, and the offense looked good. So I don't think there's any way I can knock Dallas as much as I'd love to.
It was going to be a good game 3 different times. The Bears would get within 4 or within 7, and then Dallas right back, touchdown right back, or the Bears got a turnover, and then Dallas right back, got a turnover right back. I did like when Parsons gets the fumble. He's not touched down, and Justin Fields just jumps out of the way.
But you can't fault Justin Fields either. I mean, he's coming in hard at a solid body that's just on the ground, so it's either that or you got, something could happen to his legs,
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
I didn't mind that one.
Just jumps over him, head down. All he had to do was touch him with his fingers, and he could have been down. That's where I'm like, Justin Fields just looks so over it out there. How did you feel about the uniform matchup? It threw me off.
Hated it.
I kind of hated it too.
Dallas Cowboys at home need to be, when they play a team like the Bears, it's like when a nice guest shows up, and when I say nice guest, I mean a franchise that has been around long enough and respected, kind of like somebody with senior status. You show up, you dress up. I need to see the Cowboys in their white and silver pants. Thank you. And I need to see the Bears in their navy jerseys with white pants. I'm sorry, that's just the way I see Bears Cowboys football.
Carmona, you bring up a good point. This is why we're a good team, better than any Tony Dungy and Maria Taylor. Cowboys at home wear white.
Yeah.
Bears on the road wear their dark colors. I turned on the game. I thought it was UTEP versus Boise State. Like, well, what is this? Costumes? Like, I got to figure out what team is what. I got to look at them and I got to see, oh, okay, like, I didn't like Dallas at home with their dark jerseys. It didn't make any
No.
sense. I
No.
didn't. Well, I
I
thought I
didn't
would
do
like
that.
it, and then I was like, nah, I don't like
No,
this.
I did not like it at all. Not one bit.
No, it didn't make any sense. They look like costumes. It's a bright orange. Orange uniforms look cool, yes, but not when
But hey,
not when it's a storied franchise like that.
speaking of a strong team in the morning, how about Minnesota? Really taking it to the Cardinals. That was a really good game.
Yeah, let's go Minnesota. That's our surprise of the week. I'm like, Minnesota's 5-1. I text my Minnesota friends and I asked, like, do I need to start taking Kirk Cousins seriously? Do I want to buy into the Cousins life? I don't know. And maybe so. Maybe it is
Right.
time for a Kirk Cousins renaissance. I feel
Yeah.
like Kirk Cousins is like dating a stripper. It is going to be maybe okay for a month, 2 months,
But
but
then you
you know
gotta
that
move on.
house is going to be burned down. You
Yeah.
know it's going to be sad. That's my Kirk Cousins hot take. I don't want to burn my early hot take, but Kirk Cousins like dating a stripper.
Yep, I'm with you.
Minnesota 5-1. Arizona always has a good road record for some weird
Weird
reason.
reason, yeah.
Kyler Murray is the ultimate pissed off at his dad quarterback now, nonstop yelling at his coach. And then this was a good game somehow.
Yeah, it was a good game. I thought the Cardinals did have a chance to. I thought which would be an upset on the road, but Minnesota moves on, and don't look away from the Vikings. Do not look away from the Vikings.
Yeah. This
That
is
will
the
be
perfect Vikings strategy. Just lay low, 5-1. No one's talking about you. This is
maybe,
this is
when we're
that team.
talking when we're talking about when we do our mid-season award show. Maybe we can pick some sleeper teams, but that's going to be one of those teams. The
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings.
Also, I never watch Minnesota games for some reason. So I'm watching a little bit of this one, and Minnesota has a sneaky cool stadium. Like, it seems like the fans are right on top of the field. It's almost like they're playing in a college stadium.
Really cool stadium.
Really cool. Yeah, I don't think anybody knows about the stadium. I think we still think they're playing in some sort of interim stadium while their dome gets fixed.
Yeah.
So Minnesota 5-1. I don't know what to think about that, but this has been a good month for Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Okay, next game. Let's go. Okay, let's go this game. This one intrigued me. New England at New York Jets.
And yeah, it was an intriguing game.
Jets are good, and yet they cannot get over the hump with New England, it seems.
No, and that's a big thing. But the Jets had their chances too. They weren't totally out of it, but they just didn't look like they've had the that spring in their step, I guess, that they've showed during most of the season. But hey, look, that's another division that it's possible they're going to be playing for a wild card.
Do you think it was because of the fact that the Jets went with full black uniforms today?
Oh no. I think those look nice.
They
Those
even
look
had
nice.
black helmets too. I didn't know you
Yeah.
could change your helmet.
Yeah, those look nice. Oh, the Cardinals had a black helmet the other day, but no,
Oh,
but
they did?
yeah, but I will say this, but New England doesn't look that good. Good win for New England, but I'm not sold on them either right now. So
Mac Jones is back. Did you see Bill Belichick got a haircut? He's
yeah,
looking all slick on the sideline with his visor and fresh haircut.
yeah,
Yeah. This has been a very un-New England-like season. Like, they've had mediocre record seasons, but they don't have, like, quarterback controversies like this, where
Right.
that Monday night where Jones got pulled and then Zappy goes in and now Jones is back. This usually does not a detail of a Belichick team.
right.
And somehow they win, putting them at, I think they're 4-4 now. So that was a weird one. I mean, I was rooting for New York teams. I'm like, let's keep this train rolling.
Okay,
And yet
fair.
they cannot get over the hump of New England. It's just like New England's just like, yeah, we'll lose all our games, but we're beating the Jets.
No, exactly.
All right. Here was a fun one. Or let's do this one first before my fun one. Miami at Detroit.
Yeah.
Another fun game, even though Detroit is in the basement. Tua is still looking good. Detroit,
No, but those receivers, I think, make Tua a lot better than he is. I'm going to throw
yeah.
that out there.
First,
Hot take
like,
for me.
real Tyreek Hill burner game. He
Yeah.
was
So
catching everything.
they are that's a great receiving core, and there's some defenses that better be prepared when facing those two receivers on the ends.
Yeah, and like it goes down to the final drive. Tua's hitting everybody, and it bothers me that the Detroit Lions are wearing their sweatpants uniforms as well. And
Yeah.
like Goff just can't finish anything off. He really cannot. So Miami gets the win 31-27. Miami is still good. Now we got to talk Dan Campbell. How long
He's
does
gonna
Dan Campbell
finish.
make it?
He's gonna finish the season, but they're gonna do their diligence at the end of the year.
Yeah. I think he's losing control of the team. And they had that number one draft pick. They had the defensive guy, Aiden Hutchinson. They got, Goff. The Goff trade still was a mess. So they got a few players, but 1-6 now.
Yep.
They're one of those teams that's like in every game till about 6 minutes to go.
Right. So
That was Detroit. Okay, Pittsburgh at unbeaten. Philadelphia stays unbeaten as well. Pretty handily too. 35.
I don't think has ever beaten Philadelphia in Philadelphia. So there's a little Keystone State stat, or I think they're like 9-0. You know, they've won like the last 9 games, something ridiculous. But hey, that was not much of a game. The better team won, and that was a big flex game for Philadelphia. Again, I appreciate those games where teams that are supposed to win convincingly. And so that was one of those games for Philadelphia.
How come we're not talking any MVP candidates on Philadelphia? Who is it going to be? Is it Hurts?
Aren't they looking like maybe like one of those like hey, maybe this is going to be just a flat out team effort, you know? And they go far. Who knows?
Here is the rest of Philadelphia's schedule: at Houston, Washington, at Indianapolis, Green Bay, Tennessee, at New York Giants. There's a world where they go into that Giants game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13-0. They're going to beat Houston. I think they could beat Houston walking backwards. Washington is feisty, but they should win that. Indianapolis, they should win that. Green Bay should win that. Tennessee and New York Giants have winning records. Like they could win all these games.
Yeah, I mean they could. And you know right thing happens at the right time. But again, remember they've had you know Carson Wentz went on that great run you know a few years ago when he was quarterbacking Philadelphia. So this is a franchise that you know maybe can get hot, and let's see what happens.
Oh, what a start for Philly. 7-0.
Yeah,
going into Houston next week, who's 1-5, but they should be 8-0, right?
Yeah,
there's no way they can lose that game. What's the line on that game? Now I want to bet on it. Okay, let's get it out of the way. My Las Vegas Raiders at New Orleans Saints, 24-0.
This should be a quick one of those quick deaths for you. Let's just get it out the way. There's not a whole lot to talk about. It was pathetic. It was pitiful. Is that fair to say?
Pitiful is a good word. Lackluster. Limp might be another good word for it. I just wrote in my notes, fake fourth down punt. Why? I feel like we were down 17-0 within 8 minutes of the game even started. And then like maybe it's a function of the stadium or that so many Raiders fans went to the game. Like that game was quiet. Like I'm flipping games. I go to one game, you can hear the crowd cheering. I go to the New Orleans game and you can hear Derek Carr, you can hear Andy Dalton like doing the calls at the line. It's so quiet in that game. It was rough. New Orleans at one point I think just ran random offensive plays and still scored a touchdown. And then lastly, like, I try not to do this, even though I did it anyway. I go onto Raiders Twitter. I'm on all the subreddits of Raiders Twitter. It was so bad. Not only are people calling for a quarterback change, people are calling for quarterbacks to go in the game that aren't even on the Raiders team anymore. There was
Right.
so much Mariota talk. And there was like, let's get Mariota in there. He's not
Right.
even on the team. He's on Atlanta. So Raiders Twitter was very mad. Very
Yeah.
mad.
It was horrible.
It was bad. I think it's gut check time for Mark Davis. Like, is this our coach? And if not, what do we get rid of first? Is it Carr? Is it coaching staff? Is it go into the draft? It's bad. It's bad.
Things are bad, and there looks like there's no sign of improvement anytime soon.
No, we
So
got all the good players, but like put all the players you want on this team. We find ways to lose. They're so bad. Waller is no good for a whole season. We should rename him Week 4 Waller because he will not make it to Week 4. He's always injured. He comes back. He has a few good catches. Then he gets injured again. So he can't stay on the field. Carr, every once in a while, just throws it to three opposing defenders.
yeah,
The one
yeah,
interception he tried to throw to Renfro, I'm like, Carr, there's a guy in front of Renfro. You can't go
it was
through bodies. So, and at some
bad.
point during a hard loss, like as a fan, you just give up. You're like, all right, even if they're losing, I usually just check back on the game. I don't make it my main game. I just keep checking back on it. I didn't go back. I didn't go back the second series into the third quarter. I was like, this is a loss. We'll chalk it up to next week. So,
Yeah, we'll see.
Raiders, you had so much potential. You had potential. You were good in school. You got good grades. Yet,
It's over.
why are you a college dropout?
It's over.
Okay,
Next year.
more thoughts on that in the categories. Okay, last early game is a wild one. Carolina at Atlanta.
What? Let's just cut to the chase.
Yeah, let's go
Well,
right to it.
okay.
End of the game.
End of the game. Atlanta is up 6. Maybe the throw of the year. Walker throws that rope.
Mhm.
Just in the perfect spot. And DJ Moore comes up with it. A sure-handed DJ Moore, and he's had some good games. And he immediately takes off his helmet. Like it wasn't.
Right
He
away.
walked off. Yeah, and he would have taken it off a lot sooner, but I think he couldn't. The straps may have slipped off his fingers, but he clearly did it. He clearly did it. It wasn't like he was walking back to the sideline and he did it inadvertently. He was walking towards the crowd, to hype him up or whatever, and then
The opposing crowd, like they were the away team. He was
right.
talking trash to the
And
crowd.
so good, but then he backs his kicker up about 10 yards, or I don't know if it's a 10
I
or
think
15
it
yarder,
was.
15
I think
yarder.
unsportsmanlike is 15,
It
right?
was 15. Yeah, it's
Because
15.
it was a 48-yard kick.
Yeah, it was a 48-yard kick. So yeah, it would have been 15. It would have been 15.
Hmm.
So look what happened there. Just not smart.
It's just like a few weeks ago when we say like the defensive guy, you tell him with the quarterback like just don't touch him because they're calling penalties. The quarterback throws the ball and they can't help but give him a little push. Like they cannot help themselves. That's how some of these players are with celebrating. They cannot help themselves. They know the rule. I'm sure it's been told to them 1,000 times, and yet they cannot help themselves and take a helmet off after a touchdown. They need to invent helmets that cannot be removed. That's the solution here
Oh.
is just sort of surgically tie this helmet to your head and then we'll just cut the stitches after every
Or
single
kind
game.
of like riding a roller coaster. That there is a guy on each team that when the play is over, then he unlocks the helmet. How about that?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, like the little seat thing comes up. It cannot be
Right,
removed. That's better.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
better. See, that's why we're a good team. Or how about this? You know how you have such a thing called the get back coach and his sole job on the sidelines is to push people back so they don't creep onto the actual field? We need a helmet stays on coach. As soon as there's a score, a little guy runs out and just puts his hand on your head so you can't take the helmet off. And
Ooh.
he just keeps the helmet on coach.
How about if the play is still live for a penalty? As soon as you touch it, it'll zap maybe something on your neck, just like a huge zap, and then so you'll like you'll flinch and you'll lose that desire to take your helmet off. I don't know. We got to think about this.
Was DJ Moore removing the helmet A, idiotic, B, moronic, or C, retarded? Now, I know we can't say retarded anymore. However, sometimes it needs to be used. It's like a fire extinguisher. Sometimes you need to break the glass and use it. That was insane. What would you use to describe that DJ Moore action of removing his helmet?
I can use the word, maybe can we use it saying retarded, but in the sense that it retarded it, it stunted the growth, it
retarded their ability to win a game.
Retarded their ability to read a game. So, win a game. So that would be a retarded play.
Yes. Okay. I'm in total agreement with you. Break glass if needed. Use the word retarded for DJ Moore. And then they go into overtime. And it just seemed like the NFL universe of justice would not let Carolina win this game because Mariota throws the bad INT.
I know. I mean, and Lakis was talking about like just the ups and downs of the game,
Do you listen to Bill Lakis like I do on the radio? Somehow we were on the same page at the right time of day.
I listen to Lakis a lot today because I was on the road. I was on the road a lot, driving kids around and whatnot. But it was bad.
Bill Lakis is bad. Like, just back to using retarded. He says he is verbal cotton candy. There is no nutritional value. He just speaks. And somehow, he stays employed. Somehow, we're texting each other lines, Bill Lakis lines. It was like, yeah, you got the quarterback back there. He's got time. You're just going to have more options when you have time. I'm like, yes, you will have more options, Bill Lakis. We have a award that's hot take of the week. Maybe we should have a most obvious take of the week, and it can just be the Bill Lakis line of the week. It's like, at the end of the game, you got to have more points than the other team.
Right.
And then the other guy goes, good point, Bill. Let's go to Philadelphia. And they just move on. Does it drive you crazy, or is it just me? I get mad in the car.
Some of those lines do bother me.
I need to play myself off with the graduation music in my own car when I listen to this. I'm like, how is it that someone with average to below average intelligence is gainfully employed and thus making a good living? And then at some point I ask myself, well, maybe I'm the dumb one because I have not figured out how to make a tremendous living, and I think these people are dumb. So maybe I'm the dumb one because I don't figure out.
The idiot, yeah.
But maybe I'm the idiot.
I'm with you.
All right, let's move on. I'm making myself angry. Okay, let's talk your game. Late games, San Francisco at the LA Rams. Big win. You still will not apologize to Jimmy G.
No,
I don't know why.
I'm not going to apologize to Jimmy G, Pat. Stop asking me to apologize to Jimmy G. I will not apologize to Jimmy G. So forget about an apology to Jimmy G.
All right. No, what's it going to, is there anything that he can do?
Yeah.
You got to have a ring.
Got to get a ring.
Okay, so if I'm the mediator in the divorce of you and Jimmy G,
this is not negotiable.
Non-negotiable. You got to have a ring. Wow. All right. Okay, this is Christian McCaffrey's first real game.
Wow.
As a 49er.
Yes, because it was a full week of practice.
And he goes nuts. He throws a touchdown pass. What did he catch? 2 touchdown passes?
No, caught 1, ran for 1, threw 1. Trifecta.
Jeez.
First since LaDainian, I think, in 2005. So, very special.
How fortunate did the 49ers get this year? First, we had a semi-quarterback controversy, and then that solves itself. Trey Lance gets injured. Jimmy G can come right in. And now they somehow acquire Christian McCaffrey, and now the season is just jet fueled now. This guy's the limit for the 49ers.
Well, we've still had some devastating injuries on defense. I mean that
who cares? They're good.
I know. I'm with you. And the defense is still playing. Bosa and Fred Warner and Ufanga. They are leading that defense in every aspect. But obviously at 4-4, I can't say that this is our year. We still have a lot of work to do, but fortunately, we are in a weak division.
Yeah, so you're one game out. Seattle's in the lead. Arizona, and I don't know who the other team is, but they're ahead of them. So winning the division is not out of the question. They have
No.
a team to win this division if Seattle slides a little bit or if they just get a game up on them.
Well,
Division is
remember they Seattle
very
already took
possible.
one. Seattle already took one from them this year, so they got to get it back.
They got to get it back, right? And somehow I think the 49ers are going to be good the second half of the season.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
God, look at you. You're so cautious. You're like
Lights still off. The
you're
light is
like
still off.
lights still up. You're like a chick who's been in bad relationships.
Yeah.
And you're like, I gotta be careful. You can't stay over tonight. I've been burned before, Jimmy
Right.
G.
Right.
All right. Here was the marquee skippable game of the week. Tennessee at Houston. Somehow
Derrick Henry just always goes off.
Derrick Henry is just a freight train, can't stop
Yeah.
running, and
But
only a
hey,
touchdown game.
but we'll see. Tennessee may be lingering, but another division that seems to be weakened. One of the three divisions I think are weakened. The other one we just talked about, the NFC West, the AFC. I guess is the South, but also the NFC South is another weakened division. But again, not much to talk about in this game. Just Derrick Henry just does his thing. Other AFC South team, Indianapolis, loses to the Commanders. Big, you know, that talk about a team that's just lost right now. The Indianapolis Colts, they
Yeah,
can't beat anyone.
yeah.
Um, I mean,
Indianapolis is.
they beat the Chiefs, I think, right? Didn't we all like start praising them for?
Yeah, how did they do that?
Yeah, it was crazy when you think about it. But yeah, how did the Chiefs lose that game? Um, but hey, McLaurin, that receiver for the Commanders, honestly, call me crazy. I think he would be. He's got the type of talent that he could be one of the faces of the NFL. But he plays in Washington, and I just think that
Wow.
people are. I think people are really hating on Washington these days.
Yeah, they become the most hateable team in the league for no fault of the players or anything. It's really hard. It's gonna take a couple of winning seasons to like get a
I
fan
think
base and the whole country has to have a little love for the best team in the league as well, just
I
a
think
little bit.
I think if you're McLaurin, first thing you do, get out of Washington. If possible, you get your agent, get me out of here. He is a special talent.
Uh oh, last note on the Tennessee Houston game. Can we stop cutting to sad shots of Lovey Smith on the sideline?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't like seeing sad Lovey Smith with a big gray
Or
beard.
do I?
Ugh, I don't like it. Yeah, Washington, Indianapolis. Matt Ryan gets benched. He didn't even dress, like he's in sweats. We got a battle of the backup QBs. Am I crazy? Did Heineke look good? Like he's
He
throwing
looked
balls
good.
all over. He's directing traffic out there.
He looked very decent.
Man, who's in Washington's division? Can they be good? Oh no, they're with Philly and
Oh, there are the
Dallas.
Philly Giants. Another game that we really haven't talked about, but Geno Smith, my God, he's
Yeah, let's go Giants, Seattle.
they're winning. They're winning, and now they're first in the division. Um, uh, but Giants, they were looking good, and hey, like I said, I think the Giants have been. I see a huge improvement. However, I think right now their record is better than what they really are, and I think maybe I hope not. I hope they keep winning, but it's possible that I think maybe the second half of the season, it could expose them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they lost by 17 points in this game. They were threatening, but they would never like. I don't feel like Seattle was ever afraid of. Like Seattle's offense was clicking. Like
Yeah,
the offense is clicking when Geno Smith throws that absolute dime and the receiver drops it, and the drive just keeps going. They're like, no problem, we'll get the first down. That
right.
usually kills an offense. That one big drop, and yet Seattle just like, we'll just run the ball. Okay, we'll get a pass, and they kind of win this game running away. I think if you were to pick one of the winners of the first half of the season, it's got to be Seattle. They just elevate their backup QB. Everybody's talking about Pete Carroll's old. He's an old man. The game has passed him by, and I think they won the first half of the season. They're awesome.
They may have, Pat. That's a hot take. Did Seattle win the first half of the season? Arguably, yes.
Coming up next, did Seattle win the first half of the season? We'll tell you when we come back from break. Yeah, Take that. Those were our games. Those were the Sunday night game. Those were the other games that were, like we said, early games were fun.
Yeah,
Fun games.
it actually turned out to be a good weekend.
Despite my, like, if Raiders hadn't lost so bad or if they were on a bye, like, it would have been the most fun early game weekend, like, in a long time. Remember last week when I was like, the Raiders won, it was the early game. That was the happiest I've been in 3 years. Well, that was the end of that.
Yeah.
That was the end of that happiness. So early games, fun. No more fun football. Now it's real men football.
Yep.
Okay, it's time for the game. You mentioned last week something that piqued my interest. You mentioned that you are a big Val Kilmer fan.
Huge.
So, yeah, huge. Like, number one, okay, why is it you are a Val Kilmer fan? Because I don't even know if a lot of people use that phrase. Everybody likes him, but no one's like, I'm a Kilmer guy. You hear like, I'm Cruise guy. I'm a Tom Hanks guy, Denzel guy. Like, I don't hear a lot of Kilmer
I
talk.
just think that when I came up with Val Kilmer, obviously he was a young actor when I was just starting to watch movies, even as a kid. And I just always thought, God, that guy is cool. I would like to be that cool when I'm older. So that's, I think, where my appreciation of Val Kilmer comes from.
Do you see him as I see him as like an actor's actor who is almost in so deep that it might be to his detriment in getting some roles and things like that. But I was looking up his IMDb and like he hasn't been in anything good in 20 years.
Well, also, but he's been sick too.
He has been sick. Yeah, he has been sick. That's true. But the things he has been in, I never heard of any of these. There have been some really odd choices. You go back to the first half of his career and you say like, oh, this guy's going to be in our lives for 25, 30 years. Like this is going to be our Brando. This is going to be our guy.
But he also seems like he's the type of guy that's okay with that.
Maybe so.
So I appreciate that about him. At least that's my take on it.
What's your favorite Kilmer movie?
Real Genius.
Ah, and least favorite Kilmer movie. Do you even have one? Is there a least favorite?
Yeah, there is. He was on that. Whoa, which one was it? Was he Red Planet or the one about Mars?
Yep, that's Red Planet.
Red Planet. I didn't like that one.
I looked it up, and that was the last movie that like I could recognize. I was like, oh, I remember that movie coming out. There was talk about it. It wasn't that good, but like we were like Kilmer, space, all right. And then all the other movies after that, I was like, I never heard of any of these movies. Wasn't there that one where he was blind and he was like Mira Sorvino was helping him walk around New York City or something like
right.
that?
That Pat at first sight or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, maybe that's the one I don't like.
Oh, that was the last throes of Kilmer. All right. Here is the game for you this week. I picked 5 movies. Number 1, I am going to read you a very vague description of the movie. I'm going to see if you can guess the movie. And in number 2, I'm going to see how close you can guess to the audience score, the critic score of that movie's Rotten Tomatoes score.
Okay.
All right. I got 5 of them for you. Okay. Here is super vague description number 1. Lions stop the construction of a railroad.
Oh, shoot. I don't know.
No clue. This is nothing's ringing a bell, huh?
Nothing's ringing a bell. Lions stop
I think I could have got this one.
the construction of a railroad. I don't know. I'm just guess the Island of Dr. Moreau.
The movie is from 1996, The Ghost in the Darkness.
Wow. Okay. Never saw
Did you ever
it.
see it? You never saw it? That was a big HBO movie. I remember that was playing a lot. And I was like, oh, I'll watch it. Michael Douglas, Kilmer. Okay, so you didn't get the vague description, but can you guess this movie's Rotten Tomatoes score? Critics, Rotten Tomatoes score. How close can you get?
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna guess 44.
44 final answer.
Final answer.
The Ghost in the Darkness is rotten at 50%. Not bad. Only
Okay.
6 off on that one.
Okay. Well, I gotta check it out then.
I remember it being a good movie. Okay, next movie. You're off to a good start with the score. Super vague description. 2 students try to build a laser.
Real genius. I just talked about it.
You got it. From 1985. The movie is Real Genius.
Nice. Got it.
It's one of those movies like you watch it, like it's almost a musical, that movie. Like he's dancing around in that a lot. You're like, what is this guy? What is Real Genius's critics' Rotten Tomatoes score?
Oh, come on. Big, big, big. Come on. There better be something good. This is a classic. 79. It better be up there.
Real Genius on Rotten Tomatoes is 76%. Damn, you're locked in.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Movie number 3. Half Human Beasts.
Oh, shit. The Island of Dr. Moreau.
From 1996, the movie is The Island of Dr. Moreau, the Brando Kilmer pairing casting. I don't think this was, I remember this movie being a big deal. I didn't see it, but I remember there was talk of like, what is this movie?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible.
Okay. The Island of Dr. Moreau, Rotten Tomatoes score. What do you think?
61.
The Island of Dr. Moreau is rotten at 22%. They hated it.
I didn't mind it that much. Yeah, it's kind of shitty. What am I talking about?
I remember being just way too out there, like gross out. Final movie. How well do you know your Kilmer movies? Oh, sorry. No, this isn't your final one. This is number 4. Vague description. Go back in time to solve crime, but you only have 4 days.
Oh, shit. Oh, Pat, this is going to hurt because I know which one you're talking about. I cannot think of the... Oh, shit. No, I'm stuck too.
Really? Is it making any sense? You're just drawing a blank.
No, I'm not trying. I mean, like, no, I'm out.
Okay. The movie is from 2006. Deja Vu.
Nah.
Supporting role in that Denzel movie, Deja Vu.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
I remember. I remember. I did see it. I don't remember it too well.
This was the era where Denzel did a couple of questionable movies in a row. Remember, he did a movie called Out of Time with Dean Cain as well. They were essentially the same movie. It was that one, and in this one that were like very un-Denzel. I think this is a Tony Scott movie.
Yep.
And Val Kilmer's like he's like a CIA dude or something. All right, Deja Vu, Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, I'm gonna go 19.
Ooh, you're saying the critics didn't like it, huh?
Not like it.
Deja Vu is rotten at 56%.
Not good.
Not good. Not a good movie. Not a good movie. Or they didn't like. Deja Vu is an enjoyable watch though. Like I think you watch it and you're like, all right, that was a fun movie. No, yeah. There's okay. Final movie. Psychedelics in the Desert. Music, drugs, Los Angeles.
Oh shit. Man, I'm freezing on these titles. It all sounds very familiar, but I'm freezing on the titles.
I can't believe you're freezing on this one.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I don't know. I don't
Wasn't in that movie.
I know. I don't know why I guessed it.
The movie is from 1991. The Doors.
Oh, stupid! Of course.
Of course, Jim Morrison. He made the crew call him Jim. All right, The Doors. What do you think The Doors' Rotten Tomato score is?
That can't be bad. I'm gonna go 81.
The Doors is 57%. You went way too high on that one.
I,
Might
I
have.
thought there would be a more of an appreciation given its historical context.
Yeah, that's true. There might be a little bit of Oliver Stone backlash. Like, you got to think
Yeah.
that the critics are giving us this number. Might be some Oliver Stone hate going on here. You have very Jim Morrison hair going right now as
Oh
well.
yeah, it's out there.
All right, that was the super vague Val Kilmer game. Not bad, not bad for a first showing. So, well, that brings us to the awards for the week. We do
Okay.
this every week. We have 5 awards that we give out. Award number 1 is the Overbearing Parent Award. Now, we could have went with the easy, or I could have went with the easy DJ Moore. I could have went with the easy, the dad yells at the entire Las Vegas Raiders team. But I'm going to go positive this week and say this one goes to mom and dad of Christian McCaffrey taking him out for a nice dinner at Red Robin for having a good game.
Red Robin, really?
Well, when like you would have a game and your parents would take you out and you could get a milkshake type of thing, and you
Oh,
you,
okay,
you
okay,
sit in a booth and you wear your jersey.
okay.
I'm going to
They
go
were
with mother and father McCaffrey.
okay. And this award is what again?
Overbearing Parent Award.
Okay, I got something special on this one. Okay,
Mm.
bad parenting. Sean McVay, what is he doing playing Cooper Cup at the end of that game? What is he wants his son to go out there and get a, get another touchdown or, pad the stats. You don't lose your MV, you don't throw your MVP offensive home run hitter out there at the end of that game.
Oh, so you're saying if McVay's the parent, like why are you putting your son out there? This game's
Ex-
already out of hand.
Yep, exactly.
Gonna get him hurt.
Gonna get him hurt, not worth it.
Okay, that's not bad. I didn't even think of that. Hot Take Award of the week. Now, I try really hard to have a hot take. This week I have 3 hot takes,
Okay.
and all of them are Las Vegas Raiders associated.
Okay.
Hot take. Derek Carr will finish his career with the Houston Texans. Hot take.
Ooh, hot take. That's a really good one.
He's going to go to the team. Houston stinks. They're like, all right, we'll take Derek Carr. Well, like the Raiders want to get rid of him. We'll take him for pennies on the dollar.
Okay.
I don't know if he's a Texas. I don't think he's a Texas guy, but his brother, remember, his brother played for Houston Texans. So they're like, oh, he's coming home. And like, we'll have to talk about him for the offseason. So
I got
hot
one.
take, Derek Carr will finish his career for the Houston Texans. Go ahead.
I will not apologize to Jimmy G this year.
Oh, stop it. You keep you're beating a dead horse. You're so committed to not
Ain't
apologize.
gonna happen. Ain't
You know-
gonna happen.
You know what? You should be divorced from Jimmy G. You two are bad together. You're just bad. You're the fighting couple. If you and Jimmy G were a couple, would you be the fighting couple? Would you be the like secretly angry couple at the dinner type of thing?
No.
I don't like
I
you.
would I would be that guy sending my significant other that long text message that you just keep like, thumbing and like it does not end.
Jesus, this is so specific. You would be the couple where like you go on separate vacations too.
Right.
Like,
Separate
hey,
rooms.
Carmona, where's your wife? Oh, she's on vacation. Oh, where? Miami. Oh, you're
Yeah.
like you're meeting her down there? No, no, I'm here. No, I'm here.
Yeah.
She's like, wow, she went to Miami by herself, and then you go, yeah, she always does.
Yeah.
Like it's no surprise to you.
I like that.
I'm giving you half points for that hot take. Here's my hot take number 2. The Raiders will play in London next year. It's me, Raiders Jacksonville
That's a good one.
in the London game. And my final hot take award goes to the worst team with the best fan base is the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep. That's fair to say.
You got Browns, good fan base. Not, you wouldn't say like, oh, that's
Well,
the Browns.
let me add a hot take there. I think arguably also that fan base of the old Redskins, they're still around, and I think that they follow to the Commanders. But what's
The
it's
Redskins haven't been good enough to be
but it's
best team
it's
with large.
but I think it's Dan Snyder just like ruining it for their fan base.
Yeah, they're in the running. That's true.
They deserve so much better. Is that fair to say?
That's fair. That's fair. God damn it, Raiders. You know I had a good week last week. It's almost like the NFL can't let me be happy.
Yep.
Next award, the cringeworthy award of the week. Of course, I disqualified myself from the entire Raiders game because I think that could be a whole cringeworthy
Oh.
award. So I just disqualified that. So I got two nominees. The DJ Moore unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Obviously, yeah, that was
Completely
obvious.
completely cringe. It also hurts extra when the person gets the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty and they're on the sidelines laughing. That's just extra anger inducing. And then my other nominee is the Jets still cannot beat the Patriots. Is my cringeworthy.
I like those. I'll raise you one more. Just Russell Wilson sometimes acting the fool on the field, like him like
Oh,
having him like a solo prayer session, like right in the middle in front of all the cameras. What is that?
yeah, it's crossed the line where it's like awkward. Where like that friend that's cool with you at school, but then like goes to dinner with you and your family, and they're weird at the restaurant, and you're like, why you got to curse in front of my family? Why you got to tell that story at the dinner? Like it's getting like that with Russell Wilson, where
You invite me over. You invite me over to your house, let's say on a Thanksgiving, and next thing you know, like I like just retired like to a separate room, take out a yoga mat, and just go at it by myself and like in your house. You know what I mean? Like I need
right,
to yoga. It's just like
cringeworthy.
Kind of like you're looking like, what are you doing, man?
Remember we talked last week about our traumatic middle school sports
Yeah.
coaches and stuff like that? I thought of another story. Do you remember this? Where every week we would rotate players, would have to bring sodas for the team for after the game. And if you didn't tell your mom or dad, or you didn't organize to get yourself the sodas for the team, you were in trouble the next week. Like you had to run laps. You weren't going to play,
Right.
because that was your punishment. You had to bring sodas for the team. You had to have them on ice, and it had to be Coke. It couldn't be any other flavor. It had to be Coca-Cola. So you had to do that. And one week, I think we had a good player or a starter or something, just didn't bring sodas, just forgot. So the coach was like, all right, you're not starting. You're not playing next week. The rules are rules. You're not playing. And I think we had a good team. So we were playing like a game that we were going to win anyway. So this was like, okay, he can stick to his guns. He can bench him to make second string guy is going to play all week. You're like, you're starting. You're going to be in because this guy didn't bring sodas. You're starting. Be ready.
Sure.
And that kid has his mom and dad at the game. He has his grandparents at the game. So the game starts. We do the first offensive play. We run the ball. And what does the coach do? Takes that player out after the first play. Starting star player goes right back in.
Right.
What the fuck, man? That was so lame.
It is lame.
I don't know if I'm remembering it right. But that's how I remember it.
That's pretty spot on. Yeah.
What the hell? Like those horrible coaching, horrible lesson to it all. It was like, you didn't bring sodas. All right, you're out. Okay, now go back in. But like there was a precedent. He had benched players before for not bringing sodas, and it was a big deal. And now all of a sudden the rules are moldable for the good players. It was messed up. I still remember that. Like that was one of those early times where I realized that adults could be fucked up too. I was like, hey, that wasn't cool.
That was not cool at all. I'm with you, Pat. I'm with you on that rant.
All right, tangent. Would you rather? I got a specific one for you this week. Would you rather? So we talked about the early games being surprisingly good. Every game came down to the last drive. So would you rather, for your last drive, early game edition, have Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, or Marcus Mariota?
Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, or Marcus Mariota. But I'm ranking Mariota dead last on that one. I have no faith in Mariota.
Oh, really? You're giving him number 3?
I'd rather have I'm gonna go with Kyler.
Kyler number one, Goff number two, huh?
Yep.
Shoot, I don't know. I almost go Mariota number one because I think he falls ass backwards into a couple wins. I think he's got that. I think Kyler Murray will throw the ball out of bounds and the clock will go to 0.
Yeah.
And Jared Goff will trip over his own feet and fumble the ball.
Yeah.
So
no faith in Mariota.
Next category or next award, the Ethan Hunt You've Never Seen Me Upset Award, the Tom Cruise movie that most describes this week in the NFL. I'm split between two. I got Born on the 4th of July because this was a week where you saw some things you did not want to see.
Right.
And I think that's how Born on the 4th of July is, where Tom Cruise sees death and destruction at war. At one point, he pisses himself. I think that's how this week was. Like, God damn it, Raiders, you are so bad. I don't want to watch this. Aaron Rodgers, there's no way you're going to win this game. You're just bad out there. And yet, I think this was a vital week. We had to have this week. Same with Born on the 4th of July. Like, this was Cruise's Oscar attempt. So I'm going to give it Born on the 4th of July. Honorable mention, Taps. I also think Taps would be
throwback.
Like this week as well. But I
Maybe
think Born on the 4th of July.
His first movie.
Yeah, that was the first one, right?
Yeah, so good one. I'm going to go Mission Impossible, and I'm speaking about the Philadelphia Eagles.
The very first Mission Impossible? Which one?
The very first Mission Impossible.
Oh, so right, like the title, You've Never Seen Me Upset.
Right, yeah. And so, can they run the table? I think it's Mission Impossible, but they're going to try.
Oh, that's a good tie-in. Like, going undefeated is like breaking into that NSA vault that Cruise has to do in that one scene. I like that. I do like that movie, Mission Impossible. I like that. I like any movie where the heist crew is setting up the heist and he's telling you all the things that are like going to be a hurdle. He's like, it needs a 6-digit code that is changed every hour,
right,
which we will not have. We need 2 keys into the vault, which must be turned simultaneously, which we will not get. And you're just like, holy shit, how are you guys going to do this? And it's doesn't like Big Rame say like, and you think we can do this? And Tom Cruise like smiles and goes, I don't think we're going to do it. We are going to do it.
Yeah,
and you're just like, cue the music. I'm ready for the scene. I'm ready. Take me into the vault. And final award. Who won the week? 3 nominees. I got 3 nominees, unless you want to go first.
No, I'm going to go with the 49ers. I mean, if they can,
Geez, you were all over the place with your love-hate of this team.
Oh, I know. I love the team. Hate Jimmy. I'm not going to apologize to Jimmy. But I think they won the week. A statement game. And they're still in the thick of things in that division. So especially they won the week after such a huge demoralizing loss last week.
So you love the 49ers current team, but you hate Jimmy G?
Yes.
Is that how you are breaking it down in your head?
Yes.
Well, then who's your favorite player on the current 49er team then?
Debo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? And Jimmy G is just never going to break in. But if he wins the Super Bowl, he will.
I like Wisnowski, the punter, more than I like Jimmy G.
Oh my God. Why do I think there's something more to this than you're telling me? Like, you have such hatred for Jimmy G.
Hate him.
Wow. Well, you're getting divorced from Jimmy G.
Yeah.
All right. I have 3 nominees. I have Christian McCaffrey won the week. Right now, the 49ers, like GM, is got to be popping champagne bottles. He's like, I made this happen. I gave us life. Christian McCaffrey, nominee number 1. The Cowboys fan base.
Yeah.
No, second nominee. Everything went right this week in Dallas. And finally, final nominee, the last of the nice fall weather games.
Yeah.
Perfect football weather out there. Every single game was nice.
I like your 3 winners. Definitely. Definitely. Hey, and I think that if a possible nominee for tomorrow night, if the Bengals can beat the Browns, I think the Bengals hopefully can carry some momentum into the second half of the season.
Well, you teed it up perfectly, because last category of the show is Monday Night Football. You know it. We do it every week. The 4-3 Bengals go into Cleveland to face the 2-5 Browns. The Bengals want to position themselves for a playoff run, but the Browns have other ideas. Omar Carmona questions for Monday night. Will the Bengals make the playoffs?
Can you ask? Can I take a pass on that? No, I'm still a no. But again, this all depends on the momentum they can gather for the second half.
Better Ohio sitcom song, The Drew Carey Show, or WKRP in Cincinnati?
Oh, damn it. That's the one Cleveland song that was going to beat the Drew Carey song in my book. Yep. It's that one. WKRP in Cincinnati.
Whatever other Ohio song would go up against it?
We'll find something.
Will Nick Chubb get over 100 yards?
Yes, that'll continue.
Deshaun Watson, start him as soon as possible or just wait till next year?
Wait till next year.
And finally, in the battle of Ohio, who will win, Cincinnati or Cleveland?
I got Cincinnati 31, Cleveland 13.
Well, you heard it here. We did it all. We talked Sunday night. We talked you getting divorced from Jimmy G. We talked my insane disappointment in the Las Vegas Raiders. Other games, Monday night, a spirited round of the vague Val Kilmer game.
Yeah, awesome.
Omar Carmona, that was the Sunday night talk for Week 8 in the NFL. That's the end of fall.
Awesome. That's it.
That is it. That is the show. That is Week 8 for the Sunday night talk. That is Week 8 for me and Omar Carmona. We did it all. Big picture. Other games. San Francisco, big win. Las Vegas Raiders. Jeez. I don't even want to talk about it. We were good for 1 week. And now the whole building's burning down. Why? Why Derek Carr? Why? Why Josh McDaniels? Why Davis family? Let's try and put that past us. The awards. We gave them out, as we do every week. This was a big week. And finally, Monday night. Who do you got? The Battle of Ohio. Don't forget, if you want to see me doing live stand-up comedy, November 21st, I am at the Hollywood Improv performing in the lab. Not to mention other dates coming very soon. I'll announce them on this very feed. Don't forget, Running It Back. New episode is up. Interviews and a Halloween edition. It's going to be up right now as you hear this. So go check it out. That was Week 8 in the NFL. That was the Sunday Night Talk for Omar Carmona and me, Patrick Ramirez. I will see you for Week 9.